Hi, it's Susan at Seaside Stitches. Thanks ever so much for watching my video. You're very welcome and I'm really pleased to see you. Haven't been on for a while and I'm just going to do a quick update on what I've been doing in January and just following on from the December one that I didn't get back to. I made a quilt in December for the family and it was my first proper quilt. I have previously made a wall hanging, so a quilt top. The skills were there for that bigger project, but I've not done anything bigger than that until before Christmas. And I managed to get a lovely, I'll pop in a picture. There is a video about it. I forget to introduce myself at the beginning. So sorry about that. But there is a video about my first quilt. I'll just pop this down. I just have to make a few different starts to this video because I'm tripping over everything. We moved things because we had a viewing of our property the other night. I've moved things out of the way. I keep tripping over them. My ring light isn't attached to where my phone is now because I broke the... It doesn't matter. But anyway, we're back now. So, hi, it's Susan at Seaside Stitches and welcome to my channel. Just have a couple of things to share with you. I had a small fabric haul, although I did have the blue one before, but that's a visit to, well, actually 2 visits to Abercarn. Oh no, 3 visits to Abercarn within the same week or within 10 days. So I'll talk to you about those in a minute. And the other thing that I've done is I have made a quilt in January and I focused myself so well that that's all I did. I didn't want to be making other things, finishing things off. I looked at the whips. I have 12 whips. I'm not touching those at the moment. I have one project that I owe to my grandchildren that I hadn't done for a couple of years, and I'm just going to tackle that before the end of January, which finishes tomorrow. So I've got to get on with that, and then I'll look at what I'm going to do for February. I have 3 ideas for a coat, or I have 3 coat ideas. I may not do any of them. I'm not putting myself under any pressure. Oh, I can see my hair wobbling about, so new hair. Yes, so, and I'm wearing a S8875 that I've had for a long time. I really love this one. I haven't worn it much this winter, but it's kind of summer weight really, but I like a top under it and a cardi over it, and that's it. So I shall show you my quilt if you'd let me. I used the wonderful method that Kristen shares from Scrap Fabric Love, and it's the join and flip method. She has a video all about it, the join and flip method. It's about a year old and she shows 3 different ways of doing it, and the way I followed was the one at the end where you slip your batting in towards the end. So there is a video about to come out for that, but I haven't edited it all. And it's just my process of making it. It's not how to do it. It's just my process of making it. And it's similar to the one that I made for the children in December. I'm so pleased about that one. I just used what I had. I didn't need to buy anything for it because I used what was leftover yardage or scraps from what I'd made their bags, by Annie bags. I make by Annie bags, and I've made a few for the children, a few different ones for the children, and a few for the house, and one for a set for my daughter-in-law, and a separate bag, and a double zip gear bag for my son. And so all the fabrics that I'd used for those, I had some pieces left, and I put them all in a quilt, and I backed it with just 3 packs of fat quarters. I made some of the backing strips for that. I used some of the others in the backing for this new quilt that I've made for us for when we move to our new home. And yeah, I'm really chuffed with it. And as it's Friday, I don't know if I'll get it out on Friday. I'm going to call this a Friday Sews, and I'm going to thank Jen so much for just bringing this hashtag together, putting the hashtag together and having loads of people just talking about where they're up to on a Friday. and that's Jen in Today in Jen's Sewing Room. So thank you, Jen. It's just wonderful, this kind of community. We're from different nationalities, different backgrounds, doing different kind of sewing. And yeah, so I concentrated my thoughts just on making a quilt, and I didn't finish anything else. I didn't look at anything else. I just did that. So I feel like that's a good way to go for me, rather than have several things on the go at once. I have a skirt. I keep looking over. I've got a skirt pieces still to make, and I'm not touching that either. So anyway, I can cut a lot of this dribbling out. So I'll show you the quilt in a minute, and I'll just go through these. I went to Abercan. All this is quilting cotton. It turns out to be about £7 a metre. It's they're all different. They're named ones. I can't remember which one this is. It might be a Vertex. Anyway. But I like this, and I just got a couple of meters because this is ideal for backing. It's kind of blending, and but then I spotted a different use for it, and I thought, I wonder if they've still got some left on that bolt. So I went again and I bought what was left. So I've got a 2 meter piece here and a 4 meter piece here. So I went within the same week for those. While I was there, I saw some at the back of the counter, and I said, oh, are they going on the bolts on the shelves soon? And she said, no, they're going in the weight baskets. So you buy things by weight. And I didn't buy them at the time, but they lived in my head a little while, and I thought they would be brilliant for binding, for backing quilts and lining bags. So I went back and I did pick this piece up, and I picked this piece up. I've got a lilac theme going on, haven't I? Anyway, so I picked those up. They work out about £4, £4.50 a metre. And so there was 3.5 metres on each, I think. And yeah, it worked out about £4 a metre. And again, it's Wilmingtons or it's Benatex. When I got these, I also got this, because I have a use for that as well. So all these were handy, and I already had this one, and that's what gave me the idea of getting a pink one, and also a similar blender in the purple. So that's that little haul, if you like. I don't normally do fabric hauls because that's not normally how I buy my fabrics. Usually I'm quite considered and having a specific project in mind when I buy fabric, or that fabric says Susan all over it, and I'll find something I can do with it. And that's how I sometimes work. So anyway, let's get on with this. So as you can see, there's a bit of a lilac theme here as well. But again, these were the other fat quarters that I'd got left from the bundle. I keep doing that because that's where they were. And this other starry one was one of the fat. There were 3 sets of 3 packs of fat quarters. So I got some for this and some for the other quilt. And then you might need to shield your eyes if you're only used to beige. But if you know me before, this is a Susan quilt, so it's very Susanized. Let me bring that chair out. And let me stand up and show you. So they're just as simple as 5-inch squares made in 12 vertical rows. As you make one row, you slot the batting in, then you sew it down, and then you attach right sides to right sides, the right sides to right sides of the backing strip, and then you sew that down. From your second one, you sew that down to your first one. That one comes forward, the back comes forward, then you slot in your batting, a strip of batting, and there you go. And that's how you make them. And it's so simple. You've only got this much under the throat of your machine, so you're not having to quilt moving up the whole thing around, having it all rolled up. under the, oh, in that space. So for me, it's great. And I'm just so pleased with it. So it's 15 squares deep, 15 squares long, and it's 12 squares wide. And it's entirely up to you what you use and how you use it. I've just bound it with a 2.5 inch strip of coordinating fabric, and that's the front, and there's the back in all its glory. So really that's all I've got to share with you, except we went to a couple of other places. I went to Empress Mills in Colne, near Burnley, really, East Lancashire, and they have, it is a really old mill that is just stocked floor to ceiling with fabrics and bolts of fabrics, fat quarters. They have an amazing haberdashery section. Oops. Excuse me. And I saw lots of things I've never even seen before. So they also had some jelly roll strips, and I chose 2 of those because I knew I had 2 of these. And what else did I didn't buy anything. Oh, Alan bought a little hook thing that we didn't, I was overwhelmed by the amount of fabric and the height of the bolts and everything. But also there wasn't anything just there that was Susanized. There was corduroy, there was loads of it, but none of them my colours. And denims, flowered denims, chambrays, all sorts of things. But that's all I came out with. I was very pleased with myself. And where else have I been? We've done quite a few reminiscing days again. It was Alan's birthday. Alan shared his birthday with my sister's eldest child, her son Christopher. And sadly we lost Christopher last March to a sudden illness. And it was a very strange day, having Alan's birthday, knowing it would also be Chris's birthday, but he wasn't here to share it, and he was 41. So we did go and visit his place, we call it Chris's place, left some flowers, and just added those to the tributes that had been already given that morning by his friends and family and other members of the family. And then we went and had some lunch somewhere, and so we had a meaningful day on Monday, and then on Tuesday I got back onto making this quilt. And tomorrow I'm going to a sewing social at Preston, the Sew Club, and yesterday I was on Wednesday I did the Sew Virtual with Alison from Sew Like Dottie and a lovely group of people there. So that was good. And in December I went to a Christmas party with the Sewing Institute had their Christmas party, which was like a mini frock tales, where you wear your fancy frock that you've made, or an outfit, or whatever you want to. And it was in a little a small games restaurant. So they have lots of shelves where you can play board games. And that's not what we were doing. That just is an incidental. But the woman who runs that also attends the Sewing Institute for sewing lessons and sewing socials. So that was really lovely. And people had gone in their knot dresses. So the ones elasticate with a knot, stretched jersey with a knot at the side and tied up. And the group of them that had all made them together in a workshop, there were 8 knot dresses. So that was lovely. It was, yeah, I'll pop in a picture of that. So, of me there, yeah, with Lucy and Kate. And so I think that's us brought up to date, really. And I just hope you're all doing well. I hope you're doing some sewing. I hope you're able to do some crafting or whatever it is that you do. And I hope to speak to you very soon. So thank you, and bye for now. Susan at Seaside Stitches saying bye for now. Okay, thank you.